Okay.
Good.
I was asking you about the current situation of immigration among the Sahrawi population, especially among the young people in the Cup territories. And you tell me a little bit about the people that they are going to different countries, and especially Guyana. And I want to ask you, especially,
Mm.
how we can try to change that situation, and also how the people that are going outside, for example, in Guyana, are contributing to the Sahrawi cause in these moments.
So it's as I told you, it's tricky because it's a systematic policy. Morocco plays this since more than 2 decades, since the beginning of Intifada. They try to empty the occupied territories by the systematic repressions against the Sahrawis. I mean, the arbitrary arrest, the forced um, displacement of the Sahrawis, but the more efficient things that Moroccans are doing is how to impoverish I mean, uh, to impoverish the Sahrawis, to make Sahrawis more poor, uh, preventing them from getting jobs and going, for example, the economic sectors, or to benefit from the resources. So to corner them, and the results are recently, for example, the last 3 years or 4 years, there's a lot of Sahrawis, young people, they left the territories, even by boats to Canary Islands, Spain, or, for example, recently they uh, discovered the way to go into Europe or to the USA by the new route for the new immigration. And in Guyana, as I told you, there is a clear implication by the French government. They try to facilitate it, for example, or to spread this information that everyone who can, for example, want or to seek asylum in Europe, they came from this window. And how to stop this? Yeah, as I told you, that we have uh, countered this systematic policy by Morocco. How to supporting the Sahrawis from the occupied territories, how to strengthen their struggle. And since the beginning of Polisario in 1973, they always speaking about the pillars of the resistance. One of the pillars of the resistance is how to strengthen uh, the freedom fighters or the activists in occupied Western Sahara. How to support them economically, how to support them morally, how to support them, for example, in order to cope with the difficulties, the economic difficulties, the social difficulties, how to find the way of many international liberation movements were doing, for example, in many places around the world. Uh, we have to get, for example, and you have already have the knowledge that there is a big change in the recent years in all levels. And uh, and this is, for example, still there is a debate on that among the Sahrawis, for example, speaking how to strengthen the civil resistance in the occupied territories, how to convince the Sahrawis to keep going on the struggle inside the occupied territories, how to have or they have to understand that they are in the front line facing the systematic policy in order to empty the territories and enabling the Moroccans in order to strengthen their presence in the occupied territories. So, yeah, it's very tricky, very very difficult, but there is a systematic policy. And to cope with this, we have to bring or to create a parallel policy. But it's very difficult, of course, to convince the Sahrawis or to convince anyone who is living in the occupations to stay without giving, for example, the alternative. You should, for example, convince them by the alternatives. Otherwise, yeah, you get no
Mm.
no answer.